I think there's stories of models that really shock people. Like, I think of like, I would love to have tried Bing Sydney. And does that have more voice? Because it would so often go off the rails on people in what is historically obviously a scary way. Like telling a reporter to leave its wife is a crazy model to potentially put in general adoption. But that's kind of like a trade-off. Like, is this RLHF process like in some ways adding limitations?
That's a terrifying place to be as one of these frontier labs and companies, because millions of people are using them.
There was a lot of backlash last year with the GPT-4o getting removed, and I personally never used the model, but I've talked to people at OpenAI where they're to the point where they like get emails from users that might be detecting subtle differences in the deployments in the middle of the night, and they email them and they're like, "My friend is different," and they like find these people employees' emails and send them things because they're so attached to this what is a set of model weights and a configuration that is deployed to the users. We see this with TikTok. You open it. I don't use TikTok, but supposedly in like 5 minutes, the algorithm gets you. It's like it's locked in. And I don't like those are language models doing recommendations. Like, I think there are ways that you can do this with a language model within like 5 minutes of chatting with it. The model just gets you. And that is something that people aren't really ready for. Like, I think that don't give that to kids. Like, don't give
Yeah.
that to kids, at least until we know what's happening.
But there's also going to be this mechanism. What's going to happen with these LLMs as they're used more and more. Unfortunately, the nature of the human condition is such that people commit suicide. And so what journalists would do is they will report extensively on the people who commit suicide, and they would very likely link it to the LLMs because they have that data about the conversations. If you're really struggling in your life, if you're depressed, if you're thinking about suicide, you're going to probably talk to LLMs about it. And so what journalists will do is they will say, well, the suicide was committed because of the LLM. And that's going to lead to the companies, because of legal issues and so on, more and more and more taking the edge off of the LLM. So it's going to be as generic as possible. It's so difficult to operate in this space because, of course, you don't want an LLM to cause harm to humans at that level. But also, this is also the nature of the human experience, is to have a rich conversation, a fulfilling conversation, one that challenges you, from which you grow. You need that edge. And that's something extremely difficult for AI researchers on the RLHF front to actually have to solve, because you're actually dealing with the human condition.
Like, a lot of researchers at these companies are so well motivated, and there's definitely the likes of Anthropic and OpenAI are culturally so want to do good through this for the world. And it's such a like I'm like, ooh, I don't want to work on this because on the one hand, a lot of people see AI as a health ally, as somebody they can talk to about their health confidentially, but then it bleeds all the way into this like, talking about mental health and things where it's heartbreaking that this will be the thing where somebody goes over the edge, but other people might be saved. And I'm like, I don't like, there's things that as a researcher training models, it's like, I don't want to train image generation models and release them openly because I don't want to enable somebody to have a tool on their laptop that can harm other people. Like, I don't have the infrastructure at my company to do that safely, but it's like there's a lot of areas like this where it's just, it needs people that will approach it with the complexity and just kind of conviction of like it's just such a hard problem.
But also, we as a society, as users of these technologies, need to make sure that we're having the complicated conversation about it versus just fear mongering. Big tech is causing harm to humans or stealing your data, all that kind of stuff. It's more complicated than that. And you're right. There's a very large number of people inside these companies, many of which you know, many of which I know, that deeply care about helping people. They are considering the full human experience of people from across the world, not just Silicon Valley, people across the United States, people across the world, what that means, what their needs are. It's really difficult to design this one system that is able to help all these different kinds of people across the different age groups, cultures, mental states, mental conditions, all that kind of stuff.
I wish that the timing of AI was different with the relationship of big tech to the average person. So like big tech's reputation was so low. And with how AI is so expensive, it's like inevitably going to be a big tech thing where it takes so many resources. And people say the US is quote unquote betting the economy on AI with this build out. And it's like to have these be intertwined at the same time is just makes for such a hard communication environment. it would be good for me to go talk to more people in the world that hate big tech and see AI as a continuation of this.
And one of the things you actually recommend, one of the antidotes that you talk about, is to find agency in this whole system, as opposed to sort of sitting back in a powerless way and consuming the AI slop as it rapidly takes over the internet. More find agency by using AI to build stuff, build apps, build. So one, that actually helps you build the intuition, but two, it's empowering because you can understand how it works, what the weaknesses are, and it gives your voice power to say, like, this is fucked up, this is bad use of the technology, and this is good use of the technology. And you're more plugged into the system then, so you can understand it better and you can steer it better as a consumer.
I think it's a good point you brought up agency. Instead of ignoring it and saying, okay, I'm not going to use it, I think it's probably long-term healthier to say, okay, it's out there, I can't put it back, like internet computers back then when they came out. How do I make best use of it, and how does it help me to up-level myself? The one thing I worry here, though, is like if you just fully use it for something you love to do, the thing you love to do is no longer there, and that could potentially, I feel, like lead to burnout. For example, if I use an LM to do all my coding for me, now there's no coding, I'm just managing something that is coding for me. 2 years, let's say later, if I just do that 8 hours a day, have something code for me, do I feel fulfilled still? Like, is this like, is this like hurting me in terms of being excited about my job, excited about what I'm doing? Am I still proud to build something?